Hey guys, Justin with Ready Business Systems here, and today I'm going to be making Copilot video 12, and we're going to be following up on some of the upsell issues from last time, as well as the equipment issues, and then we're going to be trying to actually dispatch some jobs here. So, give me one second. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go through some of the issues that we discussed last time and get you some of the answers that I got back from Parker. So one of my questions was, maintenance is completed right here. This is a simple answer, just a simple verbiage thing, funny verbiage. So maintenance, when I was looking at this last time, I was thinking maintenance like lawn maintenance, property maintenance. So I was asking the difference between that and visit was completed because that's also on here. So maintenance, this is just applies specifically to equipment maintenance. And that's a little more clear. I was seeing on the dispatch board, they call it something different. They say equipment maintenance. So that does clarify, or sorry, on the schedule here, they call a new event and they call it equipment maintenance. So that's a little more clear. So maybe something they can consider in the verbiage to make that a little more clear. The other thing regarding equipment was we were in equipment and we were running into issues adding equipment. So we were trying to make an example equipment here, and this was another issue kind of with their with this. I'm using this dark. If I slide this up, this little dark view here, and I couldn't see the slide bar. So let's try this again. So we do test equipment 1, and I'll just show you where I was running into that issue. Type miscellaneous. Sure. Model F350. Serial number 1234. Supplier. So what was going on is I couldn't add the supplier, and then I couldn't save this equipment. So what was going on is there's actually a slide bar here, and you can very barely see it. And I don't even know if I can click it in this dark view. Having issues. So what the problem was is this visibility thing here. Like I said, this night view. When I click on here, on this day theme, you can see a slider bar now. So there are some required fields I couldn't fill in. So let's just kind of continue forward with this. Justin Woodford. Guess I got cap blocks on here. Vendor number, cool. Street, let's say 1 Main Street, Middletown, 02842. Phone, these aren't required, so I'm not going to bother filling them out. Save supplier. All right, so now we do have a supplier. I should have actually, oh well, I guess we can rename that elsewhere. I just named it supplier 1. That's fine. In service is this equipment status. Okay. Date purchase sounds good. Maintenance due. Let's just put this in for testing purposes. 100 hours. Maintenance cost. That's pretty vague, isn't it? Like what maintenance? New crew assigned to this property. Okay, this isn't a property, it's equipment. So I'm assuming this is kind of like what crew is assigned to this equipment, but they said property, right? I would guess. So let's say this is blue crew equipment, which is me. Oil capacity, okay, 5. Don't know where that came from. Sounds good. Notes, test notes, photos. We don't need to put anything in there. Save truck equipment. All right, cool. So we got some equipment in here now. We're able to save that. We'll have to experiment with how this stuff works later on in terms of the equipment. We'll mess around with that. Not a top priority, but I am curious to see how this compares to other options in CRMs for equipment maintenance. I just went under here under resources, and I went back to suppliers, and I was just changing the name of the supplier here. I changed it to test supplier, and I was just noticing some things in here. It's basically just a place that you can keep the vendor's information, right? We got some images, just a typical CRM thing here where we can see their information. I'm wondering what this is here, this payments, what payments you've made to them. I don't know how that's in the system. You know what? I bet this is a Quickbooks sync. I'm just guessing. You can see all the vendor payments should be reflected in here, I would guess. Revenue balance. Okay. So I don't know how deeply this works, or there's just a Quickbooks sync thing. Add payment as an expense. So this looks like QuickBooks Sync stuff. We'd have to dig into that later. So without going off track here, new billing level. Okay, billing, deal with that later. I was just wondering if the vendors are in there somewhere. So moving on, we had an issue with the upsells. There's some confusion on that. And Parker just clarified this works exactly like Service Autopilot. As always, I can just show you as I've been doing just to compare that so you can see what that looks like in here. Yeah, inside of Service Autopilot, which, by the way, it's becoming increasingly clear that this is being copying Service Autopilot quite a bit. Like this is clearly Copilot is made to pull off Service Autopilot. It's just clearer than day based on some of the marketing materials I've gotten and stuff like that. But the document editor is exactly the same. But another thing that's exactly the same is these upsells. So the way it works, there's kind of three components to it. So you have a tag, which is just anything you can apply. So for example, for the upsells, they have a mulch upsell tag, and then you can find a list. It's a way to filter clients, also a way to trigger automations and for people who are interested in these upsells. So that's the first component is these tags. And then email links, what it does is you create a link, and then now this link, when it's clicked, can add a tag right here, actions add tag, right? So this is exactly how it works in Copilot. And then the document editor, you can then go in here and you can add the email link to the document editor. So now there's this custom link that says, click here for a mulch quote. I don't have it in this example, obviously. Click here for a mulch quote, which is this link. And this link then adds the tag. And then from there, you can send all these follow-ups, etc. So in Copilot, like I said, it's very similar. So we have these upsells over here under marketing, I believe. Marketing upsells, right? And we have test upsell. So here you're going to select the email template that goes with it. So this is the email template that would have, and I guess he did say there are some upsells in here, some templates, some demos for that. But point being is, I don't see any examples in here, but point being is they click, you create an email document just like in Service Autopilot, and you can also do a text template. And then inside of this, you then also have your links. So you have your tags and email links, the same thing. So you would create an email link here. So I created test upsell link, which if you click edit here, same thing, right? Add tag, and then we'd have test upsell tag. So test upsell link. So now what you can do is send an email with this upsell link in it. They can click here. So it's very similar to the email links inside of Copilot. The only thing is, I guess, the only difference I can see is this literal upsell section under marketing. And all this really does essentially is this is creating the first step in an automation without actually having an automation. So what I'm trying to say by that is in Service Autopilot, if you are to add a tag to an account, like if you were to send an email that adds a tag, nothing's going to happen, and it won't even send the email. So for example, if you had, if you wanted to do an upsell, you'd have to create an automation right off the bat to send that email. Just trying to think, there's other ways to do it, but it's not as easy to send the upsell. They have it more built in. So the way they have it is it's already kind of like the first step of the automation is kind of set up here so that when you click the upsell, it's sending this email or text. So it's kind of like the first step is here. And then if you want to continue that automation, that's where you say, all right, now the tag has been added, and now you can continue with that marketing there. So I want to clarify that on the upsells. And then we talked about all the other equipment stuff. Cool. So moving forward, let's try to jump into the next topic. I told you guys we could start playing around with the dispatch board, because this is something that I definitely, it's a critical feature, right? And we haven't really poked into that yet. I've just been scratching everything on the service, but there is a lot to explore in here. So here we go. We got the schedule and the dispatch board in here. And we also haven't discovered time tracking. Maybe that's something we can explore later on. I haven't bothered upgrading this subscription until I'm sold on using the software. So let's see. So this is kind of like the calendar view, the dispatch board here. Okay, we might have to do this to get into the dispatch board. We have to do routes. Okay, might be something we got to do. Okay, schedule and dispatch board. So yeah, inside of Service Autopilot, we got calendar and dispatch jobs, so it's similar. I can show you that on my test account here. All right, so here on this test account, we have the calendar view, which is going to be similar to the one I just showed you in Copilot. I honestly don't use this view. I find it to be terrible, but I know some people do use this calendar view of jobs. And then we got the dispatch board. And then we also have that waiting list, like I spoke about before. So this is where you'd have kind of a list of the jobs, and the calendar view kind of puts in a calendar, a little bit different. But we use the dispatch board primarily. So here we go. We got the calendar view, and then we have the dispatch board here. So I'm going to try scheduling a job from this screen. So I'm going to go to here, new event, and I'm going to do a new visit to a customer. And visit title or description will be test mo, invoiceable. And I think we discussed that we can't do this if you already have your clients scheduled in another software. You're not going to be able to import those recurring jobs. You're going to have to add them one by one, which seems a little time consuming, but is what it is. Customer name. So let's do the same Shartner guy we've been using down here. We'll type it in here, Shartner. Cool, we got the address. Contract not assigned, color, invoiceable. Okay. So we have a service called Weekly Mo. So we'll go in here, weekly square foot. Again, the budget hours, there's no rate matrix in here. So you're gonna have to manually calculate these each time. I can show you a workaround I would do for that personally. So you could either pull it from your previous rate matrix, but we have our bid rates here for lawn mowing is 95 an hour on our spreadsheet. So what I could do here is, if this was, for example, if it was 66.46 price for this client, you could do 66.46. You could do divided by 95, and you come up with 0.69 hours, 0.7 hours really. So you could put like 0.7 in here. So that would line up with our rates. Taxes, this doesn't apply to us. Okay. Single visit, this can be a recurring series. All right, every weekday, daily, weekly. So I can't remember, I went through this before. If you do have to do this every single time, you don't have like master schedules. I'm gonna have to refresh myself on that, but every week, because this is very time consuming, right? So we do this today is on Monday, right? Every Monday, December 4th, 0.7 hours, pause during off season. We set this up winter. With your current settings, first event will be December 4th, while the last one will be January 1st, 2024. Okay, whatever, that's not when we mow, but that's fine. 1 week plus 2 weeks plus 3 weeks plus 4 weeks. Okay, it's 4 weeks ahead. Got it. Total number of visits, we can throw this in here. We would do 26. That's how many times we mow. Crew assignment, I'll assign myself here. I guess I'm Blue Crew. Might as well attach this form so we can see what that looks like. Notes for this visit, test notes, just see where those pop up. And maybe we'll attach a file. So I just attached a random file here. And create option, set a satellite view. Huh, wonder if that's for the image. Set a satellite view. Why not? Let's see what happens. Create visit. All right, so we're on December 4th here. All crews. And I'm not seeing anything here. Let's try refreshing maybe. And I'm not seeing anything. Week. Calendar view. Grid view. I don't see this job anywhere that I just created. Let's try going to this client here, and we go to the jobs, recurring, next visit April 8th, 2024, December 4th. Seriously pause between November 10th and April 1st because the winter dates. That's interesting because when I scheduled this job, I don't think it said that on their little their little graph here, which I don't see anymore. Yeah, I don't think it was showing that, but okay. December 4th. Yeah, it was saying it was paused. I think it was saying it was paused during different dates. But, all right, well, now we know it's on April 8th. So now let's go to schedule here. And instead of going on today, looks like we can locate this job on December 8th. So I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get here. April 8th. March, April. Test no. Cool. Okay. Nice. Test notes, add note. All right. I guess at this point, I'm going to have to get the Copilot app so I can share what that looks like. Probably be a separate video showing the app there. But I do know it was their goal to make the app on the desktop be fully functional on the phone. So I'm pretty sure this is the exact way it displays on the phone as well. Additional information, before and after pictures. Okay. Other photos. This is what I added in here. So I guess this is where you could put in like notes on the job. So what we could do here is we could try putting, and here's the upsell, right? So here's the upsell feature. We can do test upsell and then do select upsell. Do you want to send a communication? Send. The only problem with this is like, in the upsell feature anyway, I don't know why I would close that, but the problem is that your field text may not be in the place to be sending upsells, because we ran into this on Service Autopilot when we did upsells. When we did them, the crew might not know. Like, for example, if you're coming tomorrow to do the weeding, and then the crew says, oh, we want to upsell you on weeding, that client may already have weeding in their account. And then you're now trying to upsell them, and they're not really in the place to be sending upsells, possibly. So that's the only problem I see with that. So I'm just going to try starting this job. So time spent, budget hours. Okay. Work order, skip, complete. So then we can stop this job. I definitely want to play with around with the routing as well. Actual time spent 0. Okay. Well, back in this view again, and it's saying that this forecast, we know it's paused and it's not occurring until April 8th, but this little graph here is showing, okay, it looks like budget hours and then the weeks. So it's showing 0 through December 31st, and then January 1st, January 7th, it's showing 12 budget hours. But this job is paused in January, so that's a little confusing. This doesn't seem to really make a lot of sense to me or add any value, because it makes no sense. But I'll have to ask Parker about that one. All right, so I'm going to go here, and I was just making sure this counter works. Actual time spent, 0.02. Okay. Presumably in the app, it would send alerts and things like that. Notifications, per se. So stop work. Okay, and then let's do complete. Cool. So that didn't really do much. All right, so we do have time recorded on here, 2 minutes. Time it ended, time it started. And presumably this is now going to be in this client's history, right? Customer details. And then back to the client account just to see if I could see like a history here. I'm having trouble finding that, like the history for work that's been completed, because we just completed that job, right? So jobs, we have recurring, one time. It's hard for me to see where the history is for what's been completed. So maybe that's something I'll ask Parker as well. And I also noticed this invoice setting. So right now, this isn't automatically going to send invoices. So you would need to enable this, and then set your invoice frequency. Let's say weekly, because I don't want to be getting 1,000 of these emails. What day you're going to email the invoice on. Cool, save. All right, client portal. Yeah. All right, well, I think I'm going to stop here just because I don't want these videos to get too long and hard to digest. And I want to mess around on the back end a little bit here to get ready to experiment with this dispatch board a little more. I want to show the mobile, and I also want to go through I want to have multiple jobs on the dispatch board going on here. And I also want to have the waiting list jobs, like the fertilizing program. So I'm going to do some more exploring of this dispatch board and schedule the next call, because I think this is something that requires a little more deeper dive. So I'll catch you guys next time. Feel free to reach out if you guys are interested in Copilot, have any questions. Website's readybusinesssystems.com, and I will catch you next time. Thanks.